was the worst thing I've ever seen.
The last thing I remember was falling into my bed. I couldn't believe it.
You understand, it's the first time I want to talk to her since I found her. Sorry.
Hello guys, thank you so much for being here. Today's video is so intense, it's emotional, but it's also healing. And before we get into today's video, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is incredibly appropriate for the content of the video because it's BetterHelp. I have been a huge fan of therapy my entire adult life. I've been working through various issues so that I can just, live as healthy as possible, of everything from parents and family dynamics to business stuff. So I love it so much. And I know that Joey has also used BetterHelp to find therapists and work through his own issues. Therapy is amazing, and I'm sure you will see as you watch this video that we need to keep going because we still have more to work through after our experience. And a therapist is just someone to listen, to ask questions, and also help you see things from a different perspective. It's really simple with BetterHelp. You just fill out a questionnaire and they match you with a therapist within a couple days, and you can switch therapists if it's not a right fit, and it's no extra cost. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. So click the link in the description and you can go to betterhelp.com/MrKate and get 10% off your first month of therapy. And now let's get into this video. The rain wash the spider out. You ready for a nap? Oh, you're ready for a nap. Hi guys. I did not think that I was gonna actually tell this story, honestly, but if I can tell it and help at least one person out there, then it'll be worth it. The problem is I don't actually remember a lot of it, so let's try to piece this together. This was for sure the worst day of my life. Okay, so I was just going along in my life. I got my husband, I got my 5-year-old. I live in Hawaii, I got my business, things are great. It was time to try for baby number 2. I always knew that I wanted 2 kids. I wanted Moon to have a sibling. I wanted a good age gap between them, so I got pregnant at the ripe old age of 41. Halfway through my pregnancy, I decided, you know what, I really want to try for a different experience than the one that I had with my first baby, which was a very long labor in the hospital, interventions, and ending in an emergency C-section. When I started out with my second pregnancy, I thought, okay, I need to do a scheduled C-section. But then, since everything was going well, I decided about midway through my pregnancy to try for a HBAC. I was really excited. I was just so conscious of working out and mental health and meditation, and I felt great. I found a midwife who's great and experienced and actually works in tandem with another midwife, and I also continued to go to my OB for all of my scans and tests and everything, so it was dual care. We were crossing all of our T's, dotting all of our I's. I'm not gonna go into super detail about the birth because we have a whole video on that, and let me tell you, it was crazy and hard and worth watching, okay? So the link to that is below. I'm here to tell you about what happened 2 weeks after the birth. After I gave birth, we had planned to just enjoy time with our newborn and Moon and introducing this new member of our family. I was prepared for a different experience, recovering as well. The first one I was recovering from a C-section, surgery, but I was so incredibly sore and tired and bedridden. Like even after the 5 days, I didn't want to get out of bed. I also had a really, really sore spot in my back, which I told my midwife, I told the doctor when I went for my postpartum checkup. They just said like it's muscle soreness from like pushing the baby out. I remember saying to the doctor, I'm like, are you sure it's not like an organ or something like that?
I mean, the amount of text messages and questions I sent to different doctors about all the different symptoms is crazy.
About my headaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely weren't like
Complacent. Yeah.
or thinking it was like all rosy.
I was like,
okay,
well,
this
maybe
sucks.
even though I felt so fit and everything during my pregnancy and like energized, I was like, maybe this is finally my age kicking in or something like that. I didn't really see very many people because I was trying to protect my newborn from germs and stuff like that. But my one really close friend came over a couple of times, and this one day, 2 weeks after I gave birth, Joey had taken Moon to a birthday party at a nearby park, and my friend had come to hang out with me while they were gone. I remember sitting on the couch nursing Mars and talking to her, and I just felt all of a sudden so crazy tired, like ridiculously tired. And I sort of remember saying to her, like, I think I have to lay down or something. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're so tired, like you're sleep deprived, you know, go to newborn kind of thing. She was like, let's go here, I'll take the baby, you go lay down. So she took Mars and was walking with me down the hallway, and I vaguely remember like falling kind of like into the wall as I was walking down the hallway, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're so tired. And then I kind of remember laying down in the bed, and that's when everything went black. I'm definitely gonna need to bring Joey in for some help remembering.
It was the first time I had left you at home with the baby because Moon had a friend's birthday party at a park that he really wanted to go to, and we thought, hey, it's been 16 days, I should be able to take Moon to something. And I just remember I was at the park and I was texting with you. Everything was normal. I was sending you pictures of Moon playing, and you were like hearting them. And then I remember I called you. This was when things got weird. I called you, and Ani picked up and said, hey, Mars is sleeping on me, Kate's in the bedroom sleeping. Which is like so not Kate.
Well, I love Ani and I trust her, of course, but like, yeah, I love a contact nap. I mean, she was only 2 weeks old.
But I thought it was odd.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't normally like nap when someone came over to visit me. Like that wouldn't be like.
Yeah. So I'm heading home. As we're turning onto our street, Ani calls me, and I pick it up. We're on speakerphone. Moon's in the car, and she's like, "Hey, is Kate like always this sort of lethargic if she has migraines?" Honestly, when I got that phone call, I wasn't that worried because I knew sort of that you'd been tired. You're a chronic migrainer, and you maybe, you know, could have been having a migraine or something. I say, yeah, I'm pulling it door. I'm almost home. Moon instantly sort of cueing in the conversation just asked me, what's lethargic mean, Dad? And I said, oh, lethargic, you know, like just kind of tired. Crazy enough, Moon pivots to asking me how the panic button in our house works, because we have an alarm system with like panic buttons. And I said, oh, well, the panic button, you press it and it calls the cops. I said, but what if you need like an ambulance or a fire department? I said, well, we have smoke alarms that go off if there's a fire. If you need an ambulance, you call 911, and they'll send the fire department first because there's firehouses like in all the neighborhoods, and then an ambulance will be there like shortly thereafter. And it was like, okay. And then like pull up in the driveway, walk into the hallway, walk into the bedroom, and I instantly see Kate laying in the bed with like drool and blood coming down her face. I jump on the bed and I'm like, Kate, I'm yelling at you. You're not responding. So I instantly take my phone out and I call 911. And I also, like, as soon as I called 911, it just like popped in my head. Ironically, they were shooting a movie in our neighborhood, and there was a security guard sitting on a chair like right near our driveway. I yelled at Ani and I said, go down the driveway, tell the security guard we are having an emergency. They'll have a medic in the film crew. And so she left and did that. And then while I was on the phone with 911, a medic showed up. So like, I mean, talk about like guardian angel or whatever. Shortly thereafter, the firefighter showed up. And like the other like just weirdest thing was, first firefighter that came through the door was the dad of one of Moon's friends. Like it was weird because it was like literally we were following the exact playbook that me and Moon just talked through. And it was almost like that was some sort of like guarding force that like had us have that conversation to set him up for this. When the paramedics were there, that's when you had a seizure on the bed, a grand mal seizure. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but that's what the blood and spit was, right? Because like...
Yeah, you'd clearly had been biting your tongue.
My tongue.
So, I mean, thankfully, Ani was there, and Ani has a 5-year-old as well. Our sons go to school together.
Yeah.
So she was like, just go. So I jump in the ambulance and I'm asking the guy what's happening. He's like, we gotta get her to the hospital ASAP because they gotta make sure her brain's not bleeding. Which at that point I was just like, at that point I was like, this day is potentially gonna be the start of like, I don't know. I went to like really like worst dark places, and I immediately call your parents and completely lose it. Like I couldn't get like 3 words out. So we get to the hospital, go into the ER, 20 people working on you. They instantly intubate you. And at this point, she's in like a medical coma. They took you out to do a CT scan. They were gonna do a scan of your brain, a scan of your chest, a scan of your abdomen. And I was like freaking out because I was like, if she's got a brain bleed, this is like, could be like, I don't know, game over. Or like, you could have been a completely different person on the other side of all this,
Yeah.
So when that first scan came back for the head thing that said like there was no bleeding in the brain, I was just like, oh my God, thank God. But the third scan of your abdomen showed that you had a blood clot in your renal vein, so like the vein coming out of your kidney, which was like, holy shit, she's been complaining about like a sore back. And I told the doctors immediately, like, yep, that she was feeling the clot. So basically, they transferred you to the ICU. When I first told your sister, she immediately left her house and just went straight for LAX, the airport in Los Angeles, and like just figured out flights while she was like in the car there, and was able to get on a flight that would get her in like that evening. And then her dad, who was in New York, also got on a flight that was coming in the next morning. Like you eventually transferred to ICU, and I remember I told my friend that like, I can FaceTime with Moon to like, check in with Moon, make sure she's okay, tell him everything was okay with us, even though like they weren't. It wasn't okay. But Moon didn't even want to FaceTime because he was playing with his friend. He was super into the fact that he was going to have such a long play date. So I sent him a video.
Hey Moon, it's just more of the baby delivery stuff. Mom is definitely gonna have to spend the night here because they have to do like, give her like fluids and do tests and stuff like that. Nothing to worry about. That's the big point. Mom's sleeping right now, by the way. Best thing you can do is just fall asleep. I love you. Good night. Sleep tight.
The problem was like you got put into the ICU at like 8 p.m., right? And visiting hours end at 8 p.m., which I was like, you gotta be crazy. I'm not leaving. Like there's visitation hours in the ICU. Like I'm sleeping here. I got family coming in that's sleeping with my kids, and they were like, no, you have to leave. It's the hospital policy. They eventually agreed to let me stay till 10. 10 o'clock rolled around, and they had started to do a breathing test on you where they turn off the intubation machine, just see how you breathe on your own. I was like, I can't, you guys just started this like major test. At that point, like the nurse came over to me and like took her mask off and like started talking to me like I was a 10-year-old, and I was like, oh, this just went really bad. And she was just so frustrated. I mean, I was like, okay. And she was like, you need to go home. You need to sleep. You need to let us do it. And I was like, at that point, I was like, okay. So then I like went and apologized to the nurses and like, you know, just begged them to like, my biggest thing was if Kate regains consciousness in any way, the first thing you have to tell her is that her babies are okay. Because I know that that's gonna be like the first thing that she's gonna freak out about. The doctors were doing their rounds the next morning, and I got there before then, so I was in the room. And when the doctor was doing the rounds, he like kind of got close to you and he just looked at you. And I had no idea that this was about to happen. He just goes, "Kay!" And you kind of open your eyes, and everyone comes in, and they like, "We're doing it." And they like all like start to pull the tube out, and then like at the very last second they tell you to cough, and you're like, ugh! And I jump in between them all. I'm like, your babies are fine. Mars and Moon are okay. They're at home. You're in the hospital. And then all of a sudden you started to realize like, and you just started going like, where's my babies?
It's still like fuzzy in my mind, but yeah, I remember waking up and like you were there, and I just remember there were like so many like pains in my body. Like my tongue hurt so bad because I had bitten it during my seizures, and I had so many needles, like so many IVs in me. You like told me everything, and I just like I couldn't believe it. Like I was just like, what? Like it was just like so, like the last thing I remember was like falling into my bed the day before.
I like sat back down, and one of the doctors came over and was like, are you okay? And I was like, and I was just like crying. I was like, this is the first time I've been able to you don't understand, this is the first time I've been able to talk to her since I found her unconscious. And like, it was so important for like me to know that you knew that Mars and Moon were okay, because
yeah. Thank you.
I am headed back to the hospital. I just dropped Moon off at his summer camp. Kate's dad flew in and was with her this morning. She left the ICU, goes to labor and delivery, then she got passed from labor and delivery to postpartum. So that's like the last step to getting out of the hospital. So we're all feeling really good. Really excited that she's hopefully gonna be able to get out of there today. Sorry. Sorry. I slept for, actually, last night was the first night I slept, and I got like 6 hours. I'm actually in a much better place, but I still am like triggered. So hopefully Kate's getting out today. Every time I've talked to her, from the moment she like started regaining consciousness to now, where she's like much more lucid, her number one thing is always just like, I need to see my babies. So hopefully that's gonna happen today.
We've now since learned it's rare, but there is a certain group of people who get preeclampsia and eclampsia up to 6 weeks postpartum.
This is what was so like enlightening about all of this, which is why we wanted to make this video telling this story so that people out there can know about this, because of course we knew about preeclampsia, like being a, you know, advanced maternal age, like in my 40s, I was like at higher risk of it, blah, blah, blah. I was taking baby aspirin my entire pregnancy.
Well, we were watching out for you. You did a preeclampsia panel at one point.
I did the blood test plus the urine test while I was pregnant.
That was all negative.
All negative, and yeah. And so I knew it was like not good to have, but I didn't really know that much about it, except that if you had preeclampsia, it could affect the placenta, and which could affect the baby, but everything was totally great.
It is 10 till 6 on June 9th.
And somebody's going home.
I'm so excited.
Yay! I said you forgot your shoes. She said, I didn't come with shoes.
That was such an amazing moment. I was able to like see them again, and just with the moment that I got to like hold Mars again and everything. It's like so crazy to just think positively. The fact that I was ultimately okay, we knew what it was. It's known to be, when people have eclampsia, like an isolated thing. Now I'm fine. My blood pressure is like totally normal.
We have a million doctor's appointments.
We have so many doctor's appointments, but... And here's Moon coming to make us stop recording this video.
We're back to life, and Kate feels so much better.
I feel so much better. I mean, the message really is like, you know, don't stop after you have...
Why are you crying?
Oh, it's just, it's fine. Happy tears. They're happy tears. I'm telling this story about how happy I am to be healthy and here.
We're all good.
We're all good. It was an experience we won't ever have again, don't ever want to have again, and want to inform everyone, obviously, that postpartum care is really important, that things shouldn't end after you have your baby. Make sure, you know, up to 6 weeks after, you're aware of what's going on. Mars is such a wonderful, easy little baby, and Moon is just like the best big brother ever. He's just so wonderful with her, and we celebrated being a family of 4 with a little casual photo shoot.
We're back. We're doing a photo shoot with Mars.
Gotta be kidding me.
Photo shoot. You look beautiful, by the way. This is Kate's first time putting on makeup since you gave birth.
Literally. I'm so thankful that this day is here.
Oh yeah, look at that. She's ready for the photo shoot. Nanu's still here. Vicky basically moved to Hawaii.
Hang on, this one.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're putting a bow in it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like that.